Okay. Okay, great. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for being here today. We're really delighted to have had such wonderful weather on this day to bring you all out and, enjoying being together again in a kind of relaxed way. So thank you all very much, and welcome to Archimake 2022 Spring Term End of Presentations. I'd just like to introduce myself as the founder of Archimake. Quite a while ago, I kind of just started teaching some children about architecture. As an architect, I found it quite easy, and as an academic, I found it even easier still, and I taught some civil engineers architecture as well, which led me to start teaching architecture in a different way. So that's what led to Archimake. After teaching engineers, I thought, kids will be a doddle. I just wanted to quickly go over some housekeeping. If anyone needs the bathrooms are over there. We've got coffee and refreshments here on tap, which is
hear it.
And obviously you've got the fire exit signs quite clearly signposted there, and probably out the way you came. The rest of the morning will be introduced by the rest of the team, which we're really glad to have around us today, with various Archimake badges on. So I'll just kind of round it up by saying I'm extremely excited by this cohort, and every term they're getting better and stronger, and it's so wonderful to have this opportunity to see your work that you've been doing over the term. I know you've been working very hard, and to share it with you all. So hand over to Nikki. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Nikki. I'm an architect and academic as well, and I've been pleasure to be working for Archimake as growth manager recently. I'd like to welcome our guest speakers, not speakers, our guests who will be feeding back to the children's work. Judy Raper, who's a professor and has been Dean and CEO of TEDdy London since it was incorporated in June 2019. She joined TEDdy London after a sustained career in academia in Australia and the USA, most recently as Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation at the University of Wollongong, a post she held for the last 10 years, and senior roles the National Science Foundation and Missouri University of Science and Technology in the USA. And she is the first and only female Dean of Engineering at the University of Sydney. She currently serves as a non-executive director of Waterco Pty Limited, an ASX-listed company, as well as a member of the NLA Expert Panel on Education, an institution of engineering technology accreditor, and a member of the leadership group for the Australian Academia of Technological Sciences and Engineering Education Forum. Professor Raper's achievements and awards have spanned many years, including being named as a member of the Order of Australia, named as one of Australia's 100 most influential engineers, and one of Australia's 10 leading female engineers in 2019. She also has an award for leadership in engineering named in her honour by UNSW. So welcome. And I'd like to welcome Ralph Sewell. Ralph is an architect, educator and architectural photographer based in Oxfordshire. He is a senior lecturer at Oxford Brookes University and fellow of the Higher Education Academy. He is the Year 1 coordinator for undergraduate architecture. Ralph offers his expertise in photography, lighting, and printmaking as specialisms within architectural representation. Splitting his time between teaching and practice, Ralph is also a project architect at WWA Studios, a multidisciplinary studio combining architects, urban designers, and town planners. As a practicing architect, he's worked on a wide variety of projects across residential, heritage, and educational sectors. And you'll be hearing more from them a bit later. So welcome, and I'm going to pass you on to Raluca. No? No, she's not here. Sorry, small hitch. Pass you on to Alina to introduce the first presentations.
Hi everyone, my name's Alina. I'm the social media coordinator and I'm just taking over for Luca. She's not here today. These are the current schools that we are hosting our workshops at. So we've got Northridge House in Camden, we've got the senior and the prep school in Camden and Hampstead. We're doing the Children's University in Westminster and Catherine Warrington School as well, and that's an online class. So for our next term, we have got Notting Hill Prep School as well, Rotherhithe and Bermondsey Libraries in Southwark, and Graysbrook School in Stoke Newington.
Hi everyone, I'm the workshop leader for this group, so the Sunday group, and also the team manager at Archimake. And we actually have some great news in terms of Archimake are actually accredited to award students the National Qualification of the Arts Award. And so Archimakers essentially can receive a GCSE or AS level equivalent qualification. And the Archimakers actually started with the Discover and Explore this term, which is the entry-level Arts Award. So to complete the Bronze Award, which we hope sort of all our students will, is in this Easter camp, and you can email us for more details, because it requires sort of a year plus of students being with us. And I will pass you on to Evita, who will talk a bit about the Kew Gardens work that they've been doing this term.
Yeah, hi, my name is Evita, and I'll introduce to you the Kew Gardens Treehouse competition we did this term with the children for our workshops. So this is one of the submissions we did. This is the competition entry for the Kew Gardens Treehouse, and it was inspired by Lucy's and Felix designs and proposal made by one of our Archimakers, Anton. And the second one was this one, which was inspired by Torrens' design, and the proposal was made by me, and we submitted both designs, and yeah, awaiting for the results.
So we have a couple of events coming up soon. We have a summer term workshop, and if you register now, you do get a 20% early bird discount. Bookings are now open on our social media channels. And I'll pass you on to our Easter camp.
Hello everyone, my name is Zeynep. I'm the holiday camp coordinator, and we are so excited to announce that we're now taking registrations for our Easter holiday camp, and our first visit is going to be to the London School of Economics, which is an award-winning project of RSHP. It's going to be taking on place on 8th of April, so you can register if you're interested from the links on our social medias. And the second visit is going to be to Battersea Power Station, which is so exciting. It's Wilkinson Ayres architecture. So again, if you're willing to participate, we're open to registrations.
Hi, I'm Purvisha, and I am the YEEA coordinator. So YEEA is the Youth Education in Engineering and Architecture, which is a program that we have for architects, engineers, and the industry, basically. It is a platform for architects, engineers, and the academics to come up, discuss, and debate about ideas relating to education, architectural education, engineering education, and discuss about and come up with solutions and problems that are there. So we're going to be having that in May, and if anybody is interested in speaking and if anybody wants to attend, please talk to me or you can email at our email address. So we will now begin with the term's work.
Yeah, so this term's work. So We looked at legacy architects this term. Do you guys know who these are, by any chance? I know you guys do. Sure. See, go ahead. Yeah. Does it ring a bell to the audience, actually? The Archimakers can share, they know. Yeah? Fantastic. Means I'm doing my job, right? Go ahead. Yeah, so another bit of architecture. Do you guys know this? Yeah? Actually, can you guys... Yeah, let me come over and actually...
So this is the Pompidou Center by Richard Rogers.
So we'll go on to next slide.
This is the Royal Ballet Bridge designed by Chris Wilkinson.
Again, where is this? Go on, Mathilde.
This is again this is in the Royal Ballet Bridge.
Yeah.
This is Mark Fordham's house.
Recognize in person. So Archimake has actually visited this house. So it's the Max Fordham house. Go ahead. Again, yes, Max Fordham. They got a chance to actually meet Max Fordham during the term. Max Fordham as well. How is Max Fordham's house heated? Anyone remember? Lucas?
Isn't it heated by like either like solar panels, but also like the windows like automatically shut and like there's lots of ventilation or something?
Isn't it the appliances in the house which create the heat?
You guys remember well. Next slide. So they started off with the Kew Gardens Treehouse that was sort of Evita covered. And they also designed a refugee housing. So we'd like you to interact with your tablets or phones now. Please scan your QR codes, and so when the QR code comes up, give one word. Yeah, so give one word on any of the feedback of the Archimakers. Is that the QR code? No QR code? We'll leave the feedback to later on. So do keep your phones ready. And we'll actually get started with the presentations. So they're going to be going in groups of 3. We're going from our newest joiners to our old veteran Archimakers, and we'll get started. So, term 1, we had Mathilde, Taryn, and Scarlett join us. Term 2, Fatima and Lucy. And the ones who've been here for 2 years now, so Seb, Miriam, Theo, and Kai will present afterwards. And for those who've been with us for 4 years since the start, Anton and Lucas. So, presentations. Yeah, so they'll be at the front. Sure, yeah. Okay, yeah. So we're just going to have your videos going up. Just one moment. But the idea is that, so Archimakers, you guys will be moving into the 3 chairs, so we'll be kind of shifting as you guys go in your groups. Yeah? Fantastic. So, Mathilde is going to be our first presentation. don't think she's brought her model. That's the thing. Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest.
cafe,
No, no.
zip wire,
Yeah, sure.
little tire swing, and water and more slides and bird watching there. Here's another design which I prefer. So there's a bridge across the water for this time and a tube slide, spiral staircase to get up, a wobbly place for people with wheelchair, a ladder, also to get to like the fifth branch up there, some slides, there's a zip wire, which is a bit different, but yeah, Huck's Cafe and a chair to watch the view on a branch. Here's making the model with other people rather than Archimake. Here's the model which we did. As you can see, the cafe, the waterfall, the ladder, and another one, which is a different side, and another one, another. So here's Max Fordham's house, which I joined, and he gained section drawing of his house. And the last one is the refugee housing. There's like solar panels, hammocks, extra hammocks, because if like there's 6 people live there, they can add hammocks because there's only 4 hammocks. There's a path, a fence, a toilet door, and there's ladders to get to the bottom. It's powered by solar panels, and it's in the middle of which I really want.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, Mathilde. So we'll go on to the next presentation, which is Taryn's? Yeah, Taryn's. She did great, didn't she? Can we give a round of applause to Mathilde?
We looked at different architects to be inspired by them. First, we looked at Richard Rogers, who loved to incorporate his surroundings into his buildings,
Well done. Thank you, Darren. And next, we have Scarlett's presentation.
Hi, my name is Scarlett, and this is my first time with Archimake. In my time, we did 3 architects. Richard Rogers, who focused on bold colours and most of his design features on the outside. Chris Wilkinson was the second one we did. He was an artist-architect, and he also won an OBE. Max Fordham was the last and most recent one we did. He invented a way of drawing sustainably and also focused most of his designs on sustainability. This is my design, and this is the Lloyd's building, which I used glue to show the grades and metals of the building. And as I said before, he used a lot of his design from the outside, for example, stairwells and the pipes. This is the Pompidou building, which I used different tones and colours to show the different depth and of the architecture. This is the Royal Ballet and Opera House Bridge, which used straight lines, and I used shades to represent this. And these are the gas holders, which are crowned by these rectangular straight lines, and I used oil pastels to show the different colours. Those buildings were by Chris Wilkinson. This was my own design, which was mainly focused by Chris Wilkinson, and I used some of the designs from Richard Rogers. And I have a slide and stairs to get down, and a lift disguised as leaves, and I also have a cafe powered by solar panels, and this is a trampoline park with a balcony on the top, and then here's a slide that goes into the indoor pool, which means drains and you can skate park if needed in the winter time. This is my painting, and as it was inspired by Chris Wilkinson, I used watercolour paints, and also this is my front elevation, my side elevation, and my plan. This is Max Fordham's house, which I drew, and his design of sustainability in houses. I like the way he used simple materials such as brick and wood, but made them look very modern yet sustainable. This shows how the heat reflects and how you can make a house more sustainable. This is my design for Refugee camp, which is modular and hexagonal, which means it can be stacked, and up here is the bedrooms and solar panel, and here is the water filtration, so it's more stable, and a swimming area, and there's a dock right here where you can fish, and also there are little like streets to get around, and there's a campfire in more areas. Here is my model, which I did with another person to mix our design together, and the main focal point was the treehouse, and we had lots of different buildings to show all the different areas. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please ask me.
Thank you, Scarlett. So we actually do have some of the models here. So this was Scarlett's model with Lucy. Yeah, they worked as a team to make this really big model. And also Taryn's model. Ooh, sadly the flag fell, but so this is their model. It's nice to always see them in person. So yeah, I'm going to pass the mic to our guest speakers and also the children. So can you pass the mic when I pass? It's just feedback, nothing scary. So we have tablets to actually do the QR code. We'll give you guys a bit of time to do the QR code. How do you do it? So your camera, take out your camera. So it's feedback on your own presentation. One word. We want you to use one word. Is everyone okay? We'll be getting started with the feedback. So we'll start off with Mathilde.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Mathilde. Thank you very much for your presentation, which was fantastic. There was so much detail in what you went into, and I think I was struck by the first, just jumping straight in with the colour of your initial illustrations and filling the whole page. And I thought that was beautiful. I think people have, in terms of the drawings, sometimes it's kind of black and white. Sometimes it's just the lines and outlines, and I thought the ambition that you had to fill the whole page with the colour and saturation of the sky was a really beautiful drawing, so well done for that. The treehouse, including the iconic blue slide, which I could see the influence from Rogers there, from the Pompidou Center, with the external where you could see people going up and down on the outside of that, so I could see that had percolated in your mind, and you'd incorporated it into your treehouse design really wonderfully. You really worked very thoughtfully with the height of the tree and taking people up into really the realm and territory of where the birds live. And you thought about then allowing people to see the birds. And I thought, what a wonderful idea to be able to give people a connection to where birds live. And it would inspire people to really embrace biodiversity, which is, ecosystems where there's not just birds, but there's the bees and the insects and everything that the birds feed on as well. And so I thought that was really, really fantastic. And then finally, on your refugee house, which I was really impressed by, I think the idea of hammocks and extra hammocks was going the extra mile in terms of making the house adaptable, and so that you could imagine being very adaptable to situations where you need to provide more space for people to sleep, which could be really useful even just in a social setting. And that adaptability, I think, is something that you could take forward into every design that you think of from now in the future. I'll pass over to Judy.
My God, there's not much to say after that. But Mathilde, I really loved your Kew Gardens design, because there was so much to do as a young person there, and I loved all the activities that you thought of and how they sort of joined together, and just the energy that you put into all of your designs is really impressive. I love the fact that the refugee house is over a lake, and there's a lot about sustainability in that you can take to the future. And then just finally, don't worry, nobody likes to see themselves on the camera, so don't worry about that. You were fabulous. We're doing Tarun now? Okay, I'll start off with Tarun. So where's Tarun? I just wanted to say you look fabulous on the screen, very relaxed and very confident, and very clear presentation. It was great to see you sitting up straight and looking straight in the camera. I love the idea of shipping containers. I had the experience when we moved from America that the shipping container turned up and it had a hole in it, and it had to be thrown away before we even packed it. So absolutely great to be reusing things like that. And I was really impressed that you knew the details, such as the volume of water that you're going to use and stuff. So very, very well done.
Yeah, likewise. I think you gave a really good pitch, including all the technical details, which just showed how much attention you've been paying and how much you've been absorbing all of the information that's coming your way through the Archimake lectures and things. I think you covered so many interesting points, but you kind of ended on describing the flag and how the flag would give some identity and some ability for you to personalise your own home. And I really liked that idea, and it got me thinking about setting you a little bit of extra homework, if you're up for it, which is design your own flag, yeah? And kind of, whether that's just things that have kind of meaning to you, and you could kind of create your own flag. It could go in your window or something like that. But I was inspired on a recent visit to the People's History Museum in Manchester, where they looked at the unions that are formed for, the bricklayers union, or the I don't know, different people forming working groups, and they all produced their own flags, and there were some really fantastic projects there. So I would say take your own lesson and your own wisdom, and try and customize your own window with your own flag. So I thought that was a particularly special thing. Yeah, I think. Should we go on to the next person? Yeah. Well done, Tarun. Hi, Scarlett. So again, just kind of like being struck by your initial illustration when it was to draw pictures of the Lloyd's building in particular, and the really confident choice to just go with that blue colour. And I thought, what a great observation to reflect on the fact that the steel material really kind of brings and reflects the colour of the sky and brings the colour down. And I think that was a really wonderful drawing. You also made a really astute observation about, and a very mature observation about using simple materials, traditional materials like brick and wood, but using them in a contemporary way. And I was very impressed by that. And I think the challenge to you and your generation of future designers is to look forwards by looking backwards and seeing the kind of use of traditional materials and understanding how they're often the clues to sustainable development are in our past. And I think you made a really good observation there.
Scarlett, I really also loved your Kew Gardens design because it had so much in it that people could use and have fun, so it really felt like fun. Your use of watercolour was really nice, so I liked looking at your portfolio, and your pictures are really beautiful. And I like the hexagonal design for the refugee houses, and the fact that they can be stackable and scalable, which is really important. So well done.
Thank you. So, did they do a great job, didn't they? Yeah, thank you. So, has everyone managed to give feedback? Yeah? So, next up, can we have our Archimakers change seats? So, Fatima and Lucy, in the front, please. So yeah, we'll start off with Fatima's presentation.
shelter house, and my house can fit over 40 people inside. So what I like about this drawing was how it has a trampoline, and it has two garages, and I like how it has the roofs that are with lines. So over here we have the Richard Rogers buildings. So on the right, I like how it has the circles in the middle with the lines on the outside of the circles. And I like how it's just so spacious. On the left side, I like how it has the squares with the X's inside them and with the staircase going up. So on the left, I have my ballerina bridge. And what I like about it is how it's 3D and it has so many layers on top of itself. On the left side, I have my building with some people and some trees, and I like how it has the squares with lines on the building. Over here, we have the real-life refugee shelter. Over here, we have the stilts that are holding up the surface for the house. Over here, we have the ocean with a little person standing on top of the house. Here we have a little tree in front of the windows. I really like the windows because they can open and close. Here we have a tilting roof, so when the rain comes, it slides off. And here is the wall with a little space wall right over here. Thank you for watching my presentation. I really hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, Fatima. And the next presentation will be from Lucy.
I have learned about different architects in their buildings. There's three different architects were Richard Rogers, Chris Wilkinson, and Max Fordham. And in this term, I first drew the Pompidou Center and the Lloyd's building, designed by Richard Rogers. In Archimake, we have also been making models of our tree houses and our refugee houses, like this. This was my drawing of my tree house. We didn't get to do the other four houses, but we managed to do one of them. There's also a little balcony thing. Two balconies, one there, one there. There's also a zip wire right over here. We added lots of greenery, and this is the tree in the middle. I'll let you have a little time to look around. We have also drew the guest holders, the ballet bridge by Chris Wilkinson, my tree house that I drew, and my refugee house. And also we also drew Max Fordham's house. Well, this is the end of my second presentation from Archimake. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any comments or any questions, please let me know. And thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Thank you, Lucy. So we'll pass on to our guest speakers and our Archimakers.
Wow, nice to meet you, Fatima. Well done. I was really impressed with you described it, I think, as a mountain roof on one of your buildings. And what I loved about that was that you'd really found some geometric patterns. And then there was the rainbows on the facade as well. And it's always just, it's great to see a project that has lots of pattern and cultural kind of meaning layered into it, and just a building that makes you smile. And I think that the level of attention to detail in the way you'd drawn that facade was, really did make me smile. And I could see that when you drew the Max Fordham house as well. You drew each brick individually, very carefully, as opposed to just kind of, roughing in the texture. So fantastic attention to detail. Well done.
Thank
for that.
you.
Great. And there was a comment you made sort of near the end when you were describing your refugee house about how you'd aligned the trees so that you could see them through the windows, which I thought was really clever, because I think, and someone in the previous presentations had talked about the happiness that having a connection to nature brings. And you'd thought about the alignment of the tree just so that people could be dwelling inside but still enjoying the benefits of seeing all of those lovely green spaces. So excellent choice, I think, there. I'll pass on.
So Fatima, I really love the fact that you enjoyed making the models, because I like that too. So that's great, and you keep on making models. The fact that you designed your refugee house for 40 people means you're thinking very carefully. We need a lot of room for a lot of people. 1 or 2 people in a house may not be enough, so that was great. And the fact that there was a trampoline so that they can have fun as well, not just be sitting in their house being refugees. And I like the tilting roof and thinking about the drainage and the rain so that you don't have leaks and things. So very well done.
Thank you.
So we'll go on to Lucy. So Lucy, I love your drawings. They're really beautiful, and the use of colour and detail was fantastic. And I love that model. You did a really good job of the model. It looks as if it's very well done and sturdy. So well done on that. And just some feedback. Take a deep breath. You talk quite fast on the videos, so we have to listen carefully. So just take a deep breath and try to slow down a little bit. But it was fantastic. So thank you very much.
Yeah, again, well done. I think of your drawings, I was really inspired by the fact that it wasn't just a line drawing, but that once you'd kind of got the lines and the outline of, in particular, the Royal Ballet Bridge that you drew, you went back and then looked at how the light was falling on the surfaces, and you shaded it very, very carefully, going from light to dark to show how the shadow was falling on the building. And I thought that's someone who's really looking at buildings and observing the way they actually really are in real space. So maximum points for observational skills there, and for coming back to the drawing and trying different techniques on the same drawing. Fantastic stuff. I also like the incorporation of the zip line, but I could see that between the kind of habitable spaces in your treehouse, there were lots of interesting and different ways to move from space to space, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, which was great. And there's a piece of architecture in Berlin called Mount Mitte, and I've written it down for you, and I'll give it to you so you can Google it after this. And I think you'll see that project and you'll think, wow, someone's built something that's kind of close to my imagined vision. So I hope you enjoy looking at that afterwards. Thank you.
Thanks. Another set of great projects. Right. The next group. Before, so for the students to move into the seats, can you guys give us some feedback on the Fatima's and Lucy's projects here, please? Any questions or feedback? Yeah. So can Seb and Miriam, can you guys make your seats at the front? And we're going to start off with Seb's presentation.
Royal Ballet Bridge and gas holders, as you can see here. Then I had COVID for 2 weeks, and during those 2 weeks, we looked at tree houses, designing tree houses that fit the brief for Kew Gardens competition. When I got back, we split into 2 teams and designed one of our teammates' models. Our group designed Lucy's, and here is the end result. It includes a cafe on stilts and a observation deck. Then we moved on to another architect called Max Fordham and his house, which I drew here. Next to it is a section called Heat Gains, which shows some of the heat gains in a house. Then we moved on to the topic of refugee housing. Here I drew a plan and perspective drawings. In the perspective, the roof and the doors and the windows were made of canvas tent material that we used in tents, and it includes a wind turbine, and the walls were made of timber cladding. In the plan, there are canvas dividers, canvas hammocks, and basic cooking utensils, the kitchen area, and also a bathroom area. Then we split up into pairs. I was with Lucas, and we designed an adaptive version of his drawing from the previous week. Here's the end result. I added some lollipop sticks for a textured exterior. Thank you for watching, and I can now take any questions.
Thank you. Ooh. So we'll be moving on to Mariam's presentation. Oops.
My name is Mariam and I'm 13 years old. And today I am really excited to show you what I have been doing in Archimake. And what I like about Archimake and everything else you can think about. So, let's get on with the video. I know this is not a YouTube video, but let's get on with the video. The most favourite thing that I enjoyed and I liked in Archimake was building all the models. And it actually was my favourite thing because I liked work. Let's get on with the video. I know this is not a YouTube video, but let's get on with the video. The most favourite thing that I enjoyed and I liked in Archimake was building all the models. And it actually was my favourite thing because I liked work. Let's get on with the video. I know this is not a YouTube video, but let's get on with the video. The most favourite thing that I enjoyed and I liked in Archimake Mariam and I'm 13 years old, and today I am really an Archimake for a park. Not an inflatable park, but it's like a bouncy castle. If you get what I mean. Yeah, okay. Fun, if I have to say so myself. My favourite drawing is I'm probably years old, and today I am really an Archimake for a park. Not an inflatable park, but it's like a bouncy castle. If you get what I mean. Yeah, okay. Fun, if I have to say so myself. My favourite the refugee shelter house. That is my favourite drawing. It has a lot of colour. Not that much colour, but it does have colour. And I also like how my drawing is actually an inflatable park. Not an inflatable park, but it's like a bouncy castle. If you get what I mean. Yeah, okay. My favourite model was also my refugee shelter house because I really like how me and my sister, we did it ourselves. And at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing my drawings and my model. So hopefully you do get to see that. Okay, so as you can see, this is one of my drawings. And on the left, we have the Richard Rogers Pompidou Center. I really like this drawing because I like the structure and I really like the crosses on the buildings. And on the right, we have the Paris Lloyd building in London. I also really like this one because I also like the structure of it, and I like how it's shaped and the outside of it. This next drawing is my favourite because on the left we have Max Fordham's house, and on the right we have what's in his house and the heating that is applied to it. I really like the house drawing because I like the details on the outside, and I really like the bricks and just everything. It was also a bit hard to make it all neat and to find the right shape and elements of it. On the right, this was actually fairly easy, and as the red it's really hot and the yellow is warm. So, you may be wondering why there aren't that many drawings. Well, come closer. I heard a rumour that creative people aren't the most organised. Don't tell anyone, but I'm one of those people. Afraid to say it. But now, let me show you some of my models that I have been doing with my teammates and my sister. So, me and the Archimakers in this model, we got to make our own designs of a treehouse to go into Kew Gardens. I really like this design as the greenery is really nice and it's just simple. I made the zip line because we was like, how about to have some fun in a treehouse? So we added a zip line as well to it. It was really hard and challenging as it kept falling down, but we got there in the end. You'll be pleased to know that I actually have the refugee shelter housing model right here in front of me, so let me show you this. It's lopsiding, but not all Archimakers are perfect, especially me. So, this is my refugee shelter house, and I made this with my younger sister Fatima, who is 9 years old, and she is also an Archimaker. I found this really challenging, as you can see, the beams for the bottom, it was really challenging to do as it kept on falling down. But we got there in the end, and I'm really happy that we did. And I think I did the windows really nicely. And this is the beach, ocean, because we wanted our theme to be on the beach. So the house is on the beach as well, and it's an inflatable bouncy castle. Thank you for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a really lovely day. Bye!
Hi. My name is Theo Brayman and I'll be showing you my presentation of the things I've done in Archimake this term. On the first week, we were looking about Richard Rogers and his architect's work. On the left, you can see the Pompidou Center, and on the right there's the Lloyd Building, also by Richard Rogers. On the Pompidou Center, on the outside there's escalators, and on the Lloyd's Building on the outside there are pipes and lifts. In week 3, we were drawing eco-friendly tree houses in Kew Gardens. In my tree house, at the start there is an elevator going up and down the tree for disabled people, but there is also a ladder if you want to use that. And on the top there is a platform, and there is glass, and the platform is glass, and there are glass windows inside it, and on top there's a roof. Then there is me, Anton and Kai jumping off with the rope swing into a pond nearby. On week 4, we were still doing the same tree houses that we did last time, but we were just doing the different perspectives of it. And then, so at the front, there is the front elevation, which is when you're just looking straight at it, and then there's on the plan is the bird's eye view also, and then on the side elevation it's just from the side. So in the side you can see the pond and the tree, but not the ladders and the elevators inside. And then in the perspective, underground the tree is a tunnel system with a farm and which grows free food. On week 5, I drew Max Fordham's eco-friendly house. How on the left, it was his brick house. How there's an entrance here, then there's a window here and there. How I labelled it, and this is like the annotations and details that I added inside the house. In week 6, we were making eco-friendly houses for refugees, but I took inspiration from my local skate park and I turned it into a house. So as you go up the stairs, there's the door which you go into, then there's a structure pole holding up the house. There are some plants here which you can water, and then there's a hanging light with a solar panel on the top, and there's a window here and a bed, but there's a skate park out on a balcony, and then there's some trees outside and a lake. But how you get electricity is you use a micro hydroelectric dam next to it, where you can get electricity from a water source. And then I made a video of my tree house for the last slide. And I made it in Minecraft. So there would normally be detail and beds and stuff in there. And on the second floor it would be a library where you can relax and sleep in. And then on the last one would be where you see the tree leaves and where like the last stuff would be, like the unnecessary things. And then here's the tree house, how you can go up the ladder, like in the first one that I made, in the first treehouse that I did, and then you go up the glass platform which I made like here, and then I would have done a rope swing, but I didn't really know how to do that. But then you get to jump off into the lake. But there's also, and you can see the house from here when you jump in, and then there is a deep cavern for scuba divers there if you want to explore it. And then that's it. Thank you for listening.
are you using?
Yeah, I guess like wood or...
Wood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Well, good job.
Well done, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaya and Ant. So we have next up Lucas and Anton.
My name is Lucas and I'm going to be telling you what I've done in this spring term. In the first week, we drew some drawings that Richard Rogers had designed, like the Lloyd's building and the Pompidou Center. I really like this because Richard Rogers always puts the inside out. Our next week, we drew the Royal Ballet Bridge and the gas holders near Regent's Canal. These were by Chris Wilkinson. On week 3, we drew a treehouse that was meant to be designed in Kew Gardens. I liked my design because it had a treehouse and an underground bunker, both in the same place. It also had solar panels. These are all the perspectives that I had, like the front, side and pan. I didn't have the 3D perspective because I can't really draw 3D. This was our next week. We made a model of Treehouse. As you can see, there's a cafe and stuff like that. I made the house next to the cafe. I helped a bit on the slide. I made the ladder and I stuck on a few leaves. But other people did other stuff, like made the cafe, made the tree trunk, and made the tire swing, of course, and stuff like that. I enjoyed this one because we got to do a lot of teamwork and we got to do a lot of socializing and chatting and all that. So yeah, you can just view it now. So this was our next week. I drew the Max Fordham house and the heat gain section drawing, which is kind of sustainable. And yeah, this week was really fun. On our next week, I drew an underwater refugee house and a Meteor refugee house. The underwater one kind of gains energy from the pressure of the water. That's how it's kind of sustainable. This was me and Seb's model of our refugee house. As you can see, it's very welcoming. It's got a solar panel on the roof, so it's sustainable. It's got a tree, so it's very green. It's got a fridge and some beds. And yeah, we were working on the interior. So yeah, as you can see, it worked out pretty well. So that's the end of my term. I can take any questions now. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Lucas. And now we have Anton's.
I'm Anton, and today I'll be telling you about what I did in Archimake this term. In week 1, we learnt about Richard Rogers and drew several of his buildings, such as the Lloyd's building and the Pompidou Center in Paris. I liked this lesson because I was able to draw in detail and learn about the structural elements that are usually revealed in Richard Rogers buildings. In week 2, we learnt about Chris Wilkinson. We drew his Royal Ballet Bridge and the gas holders in King's Cross. This was very interesting as we learnt about an architect who liked to reuse old things and turn old ideas into modern architecture, a mixture of both old and new. In week 3, I drew my proposal for the Kew Gardens challenge. This was more of a freestyle drawing to let my creativity roam free. It was a modern oval shape with windows for natural sunlight. This is week 4. I drew a simple treehouse, but instead of being connected to the trunk or intertwined in the branches, it is in the leafy greenery of the tree, submerged in the tree itself. In this week, we voted for the best treehouse design and chose Matilda's, whose drawing we modelled. It was very enjoyable and we used a wide range of materials and could really let our imagination roam free, how to make one thing in the drawing and how to make another. In this week, we learned about the late Max Fordham and his sustainable houses. We also learnt the theory behind his heating in the drawing to the right, where it shows all the house appliances that can create enough heat to sustain a house's temperature. In week 8, we had to design our own temporary refugee housing. I drew a modern hexagonal building with a door similar to the Tesla Falcon Wing door that opens upward and can be closed by pulling it down. It also has many triangular windows. Here we voted for whose refugee house to model. We chose Kai's. Kai's model has the most efficient and realistic house economically, as it was similar to the regular refugee housing, but with adjustments to make it more environmentally friendly. I really enjoyed Archimake because I can learn about things that school cannot teach you. You learn about valuable life lessons and information not only regarding architecture, but regarding engineering and physics that will go with me for the rest of my life. Thank you for listening. I will now take any questions.
Thank you, Anton. So, we'll get on with the feedback.
I'm going to start this time. So both of you showed amazing creativity. I like the idea of having a bunker and a treehouse. So if you're scared of heights, you can go in the bunker. And if you're scared of closed-in spaces, you can go in the treehouse. So well done, Lucas. And an underwater refugee house, does everybody have to learn to swim? And Anton, really good use of technology, knowing the technology, and I really, you explained why you chose Kai's house to model, and it was really good and reasonable explanation. So thank you very much. Well done.
Yeah, well done as well. I'd say, Anton, your kind of verbal description, your voiceover, you could go for some voiceover work on the next, whatever your generation's version of grand designs is. You're really good. And Lucas, I think that your observations about turning things inside out, reflecting on Roger's work, I thought that sort of translated to your look at the treehouse, and you looked at the treehouse and then you looked at the space below the treehouse and kind of decided to turn that inside out. So well done for noticing that. And I think that with the analysis that you all did of Max Fordham's house, thinking about how the heat kind of comes in and out via the sunlight and the air, obviously going below ground creates a completely different set of challenges, and so it would be really fascinating for you to explore underground buildings and how they heat themselves or how they regulate their temperature, which is great. And both of you talked about taking Anton, you talked about taking engineering and physics lessons forward with you. That's fantastic. I'm glad you've got so much out of your experience in Archimake. Well done to both of you.
So, thank you everyone for presenting. How did you guys find the presentations? Good? Yeah? Fantastic. So we'll be now going through certificates. So the students, before certificates, we know that you guys enjoyed it, but we'd like to actually know, written in words, how you guys found it. So if you can use QR codes. Parents and students, by the way. We want everyone's opinion.
Okay, just want to let you know what's left before we leave. So we're going to give some certificates out to everyone. And then our guest reviewers are going to give us a little presentation of what they do. We'll have a small break just before they do that. You can grab some food and come back to your seats. We understand we're running a little late, so we're going to do that very quickly. And then we just share some feedback between everyone, and that will be the end of the event. So, yeah, I'll get on with the certificates.
Yeah, so we're going to go one by one with the students. We also like for when you guys get up that you stand so that we can take a group picture. So yeah, we'll get started. Sure. So we'll start off in the same order that we went through the presentations. So can we have Mathilde? Yeah, yep. Well done. Here you go. Well done. Do you want to stand here? Yeah. We next have Taryn. So well done, Taryn. There you go. Next we have Scarlett. There you go. Next we have Lucy. Yeah. So just stand at the front. We next have Fatima. Do you understand? We next have Theo. Oh. There you go. Do you want to just follow the rest? Next we have Mariam. Oh. Well done. We then have Kai. Well done, Kai. We then have Lucas. And lastly, we have Anton. So, well done, everyone. So would you guys like to move in a bit together so that you're all in the... Yeah? We're going to take a lovely group picture. So can you guys stand there? A bit more closer together. Squish together. We want like 2 rows if we can. 2 rows. Can we have 2 rows? Can we have our taller Archimakers at the back? Lucas, do you want to? Not the tallest, but yeah. And if you guys want to take pictures. So, oh, other way around, Lucy. Yeah, well done, everyone. Oh, wait.
Okay, this is something that our team does not expect, but we have certificates for our team as well, just to say thank you for all their really hard work. If they'd like to come up, Evita, she's education leader for the architecture and STEM in schools. Thank you so much. Yeah, why don't you stand there? Purvisha, she is the YEA coordinator for term 1. Raluca, hi, for business lead. Thank you. Zenep for holiday camp coordinator. Thank you. Alina, social media coordinator. Thank you so much. And Nilda, team manager and education leader in architecture. Thank you so much. Actually, can you take a picture? Quick picture. There's a small little gifts to come. For me? No. Thank you. Here you go. Thank you so much. And a couple of little gifts for our guests as well. Thank you so much for coming and spending the time. Lovely. So if we can have like just a 2-minute moment. If we just go literally behind these seating, you'll see there's some drinks and some biscuits. If you want to grab anything, don't leave us quite yet. Do come back. 2 minutes, just bring some refreshments and come back here.
engineer, so I'm going to promote engineering. And just very briefly, what's TEDI London? TEDI London is the Engineering and Design Institute in London. We're a startup university, so we've come in last 2 years, we've gone from no students, no curriculum, no staff, no campus, no degree awarding powers, no registration, to having all those things, and our first crop of students started in September last year. So we're really excited. We've spun out of, you can just keep turning, it doesn't matter. We've spun out of 3 very, very global research-intensive universities: King's College London, the University of New South Wales in Australia, and Arizona State University in Phoenix. So we've got great backers, founders, support, but we are an independent higher education provider. And the reason we're where we are, we established it's because the world needs more engineers. The UK particularly needs more engineers. There's a shortfall of 50,000 engineers a year. So we need more, but we also need different engineers. We need engineers who can think broadly and are socially aware and globally focused, and that's what we try to do at TEDI London, and it's very, very different from any engineering program that exists at the moment. There are a few startups that are trying similar things, but we concentrate on real-world projects from day one. Our students are professionals in training and they make things, and that was one of the reasons I'm so excited about your models, because engineers also make things and our students learn by making things from the beginning. And we have no lectures, but we do have learning support, and the students need to learn and be accredited and all the things. And by having projects that are really socially responsible, we believe we will attract, and we have already attracted, a diverse range of students, and 50% of our current cohort are girls, so it's really, really exciting. Where we are, just where we're located at Canada Water, and you'll see some of the photos of the building. We have a modular prefabricated building which is working very well. The architects were fantastic, so we do appreciate the architecture that went into it. But it's a temporary building in the Canada Water master plan site of British Land. British Land is developing 53 acres to a new urban development a la King's Cross, and we're right in the thick of it. So a lot of the projects that our students will be undertaking over the next 10 or 15 years have to do with that redevelopment. So it's very, very exciting, and come and visit us. Some of you have been, but it's really exciting, and congratulations on a wonderful morning.
I thought I should say Judy and I work together. This is also my regular place of work, so I'm the head of Learning Tree, and that's how come we're so fortunate to have Judy. I thought I've kind of twisted her arm a bit. But yeah, thank you very much, Judy.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for your presentations earlier. I'm going to take you through some slides in a moment, but I am an architect and an academic. I teach at Oxford Brookes University, and I think most of you are a bit of a way off thinking about where you want to go to university. So I thought, rather than necessarily focusing on that, I'd just talk about a project which I worked on before I was an architect, to say you don't have to wait all that time until you qualify to be an architect to build things and to imagine something and then make that imagination a reality. And I think what I've been impressed by today is your drawing skills and the way your drawing skills have improved. So I've picked a project which I did before as an architect, which was all about drawing, and I'm going to show you a quick bit of that. It was in France, and it was in response to a brief for an opera festival, and it was a fringe festival to an established opera festival in the centre of Aix-en-Provence in France. Next one. And it was all about telling the story of Pygmalion, which is a Greek myth. If you haven't heard about it, it's where a sculptor creates a sculpture of a human form and then falls in love with it, wishes the form becomes real, and then it does become real. And of course, this is an analogy for drawings, because when you imagine something, you start to really imagine that it's real, and you draw it as if it's real, and then one day, hopefully, you'll get to build things, and then you'll get to experience it and be in it, and it will be real. So there's a good analogy here. Next one. This project was working with an architect and interior spatial designer, Colin Priest, who's also an educator. And at the time, Colin was an architect and I wasn't, and we were collaborating through drawing. So we were sharing and exchanging drawings. And it started with this one, which was us kind of thinking about the journey of the story. Next slide. And then it evolved to this, which was us thinking about all of the different moments in the story of Pygmalion and how there was a kind of crescendo where the person kind of came to life. Next one. I'm going to have so many next ones on this one. So we were always flicking between doing a drawing, then doing a model, then doing a drawing. So this was a model made by Colin, and Colin produced this model, and there was no glue. Everything was movable, so we were able to keep changing the model. And that's what I'd encourage you to do: is as soon as you think a model is finished, take some photographs of it, and then keep reworking the same model. Next one. Next one. And then you always reinterpret. So then look at your model and draw from your model. This was my drawing of Colin's model. And then a further drawing bringing us down into the kind of eye-level perspective. And then we started to plan this killer image that we were going to do to try and win the competition, so we could be the designers of the main stage. And we could design the set for the main stage where the dancers would perform the crescendo moment of the Pygmalion story. And I think if you can remember all the way back to the beginning, I have a specialism and an interest in printmaking specifically. And so these are some of the printmaking plates where I carved into cardboard and then inked up the textured cardboard and printed the print. Next one. Next one. So these are the different layers of the print as I started to build the print. And then the final one is this final image. So this is what we were imagining, and this is what we submitted as our competition entry. And we said, hey, let us design this immersive stage set for this play. And you can imagine yourself in the audience. You can imagine seeing the dancers in this landscape of temporary architecture, low-cost, lightweight architecture. Next one. This was the site for it. So it was a kind of wooded glade. It was actually in the workshop grounds of Paul Cézanne, the artist. And we were working with an extremely low-cost material. It was plastic. It was this plastic strapping that you get around bricks. So we were working with this material. And here we started to kind of make the shapes. And so it was as simple as stapling pieces of plastic to pieces of recycled timber. And so there's some photographs of the team and some more sketches that we did on site to kind of... there's a young me over there, and there's Colin. You can kind of work out how long ago this was from looking at me now, but this was the whole team, and this was the kind of emerging kind of daylight version of what it looked like, but of course it was a nighttime performance. So this is the architecture, very lightweight, temporary architecture that we created as it was kind of illuminated at night. And the blue elements were supposed to represent like the skeletal form of somebody's body, and then the red elements were to augment the trees that were already existing in the space. So the experience of it by night started to shape up like this. So a kind of atmospheric stage set in the darkness. And the dancers interacted with the shadows. And here's a little bit of kind of how the atmosphere was created. And then finally, just to come back to the point I made at the beginning, which is you're going to be imagining things. And you're going to be sharing your beautiful drawings and your skills that you've learned to draw with people and persuading them to follow your vision and to invest in your idea and to build your dream into a reality. So here I've put the dream next to the reality, and you can see how we managed to bring some of the color, some of the shapes, and some of the experience through from our proposal drawing to the thing. And it was very low cost, very kind of low impact design, but had quite a big atmospheric impression when you attended. So thank you for letting me share that project with you, and I hope it inspires you to take the act of drawing really seriously and to become expert illustrators and expert observers when you draw.
Thank you so much. This is really interesting, and I'm sure very inspiring for everyone. So I'd like to just finish off by asking any parents if anybody wants feedback in any way or have any comments or questions, perhaps. Or if you haven't here now, please do fill out the feedback forms. It's really helpful for us to know what you're thinking and spread the word, really, about what we do and what we're trying to really spread out for young people everywhere. So, and our guest speakers, do you want to say anything to finish? Are you good? Yep, here we go.
All I'd say is just I think that you've got a great team that you've been working with, and you gave them all presents and kind of recognised that. I hope that one day you are kind of coming back and training other people and encouraging your friends and family and other people to get involved in this kind of thing, because you can be the next generation of architects, and you can also be the next generation of educators teaching other people.
So we're really excited that this term's been so successful in what you've produced. Do feel free to come up and have a look at the models. There's a little surprise present for the young people underneath that sheet before you go. So do go and take that when we finish. And I'd also like to, if there's anyone here from Samsung, can I just give you this to say thank you for all your support and for the event that we run here. Is there anything else? So a final round of applause, and we'll see you all at the end of next term. And if you can take your models home with you, thank you. And any more food, just help yourself on the way out.